pull out a Bible. There should be some in the pew in front of you. You might have to share. And see if you can turn to the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. Matthew 5:8. Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. And I'm going to have a few of you kids come up here and actually read that verse out loud. I know we've already heard it, you've seen it, but it's helpful to hear the verse, and it's okay if 5 of you come up and read it, okay? We can hear the verse 5 times if we need to. So once you found the verse, okay, raise your hand if you found it. Matthew 5:8. Okay, I'm seeing some hands. If you are willing to come up here and read the verse, I'm going to ask you to bring your Bible and come on up here, and then I'll give you a chance to read it out loud. And like I said, it's okay if there's more than one person. Last service, I think we had 3 or 4 kids read it. So if you're willing to read, come on up here. I'm seeing someone moving from the back. Oh, great. Yep, come on up. Few people. Excellent. Okay. Are you willing to read? It's the same verse, and that's okay. It's helpful to hear this over and over again, okay? So this is a sermon, actually, that Jesus preached. Jesus gathered a whole bunch of people together. He climbed up on a mountain, and these are some of the words that he said. Oh, good, we've got 2 more readers. All right, so I'm going to start right here. Excellent. Another one coming. You're going to hear this verse a lot, and that's okay. Jesus people only got to hear it once. You're going to hear it 6 times.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Thank you.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Blessed are the pure heart, for they will see God.
Blessed are those, wait 1 second. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You guys can take a seat. Now, Jesus didn't tell any stories about that particular verse. He didn't say, now let me tell you about someone who is pure in heart. But we actually saw one of those stories acted out here just a few minutes ago, okay? This story of David. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So this story starts off in Samuel is going to the little town of Bethlehem. Who's heard of Bethlehem before? Yeah, what happened in Bethlehem? I'm hearing you say it. Okay, so Jesus was born in Bethlehem, but 1,000 years before Jesus was born in Bethlehem, there was another king there. So Samuel goes to anoint a king, and Jesse comes with 7 of his sons. He's got the big sons, the old sons, the strong sons, and each time God is whispering in Samuel's ear, no, it's not that one. No, it's not that. No, it's still not that one. And then God says, people look on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. And so eventually, Jesse brings out his youngest son, who wasn't even invited there. He was out with the sheep. And David comes, and God says, yes, that is the one. He's got the pure heart. He's the person that I want you to anoint. I'm guessing you've heard of David before. In fact, some of you right now are probably thinking of a famous story that you've heard of David. Can anyone call that out? David and Goliath. David and Goliath, okay? We've all heard of David and Goliath. David and Goliath, I heard that in the back, thank you. Okay, we're gonna do a timeline of David's life here, okay? So here's where David was born. I'm gonna draw little baby David here. This is when David dies. David died when he was a very, very, very old man. And then David killed Goliath when he was still pretty young himself, okay? There, I made Goliath really, really big, okay? And we know that after David kills Goliath, eventually he becomes king, okay? So this is the throne. We'll put a little crown over it. Here's what I think is so interesting, okay? It would make sense if God said, ooh, giant killer, let's make the giant killer king. You know, it makes sense if David killed Goliath and then everyone said, yes, let's make David our king. But that's not when God noticed David's pure heart, okay? David was actually anointed right here before he killed the giant. God doesn't say, oh, he killed a giant. He's done great things. He has a pure heart. No, he declares that David has a pure heart before David has done any of the really big, amazing things. In fact, do you know what David was doing when God saw his pure heart? He was doing his chores. He was doing his chores around the house when God identified David and said, blessed are the pure in heart, they shall see God. People look on the outward appearance, the giant killers, the kings, the battle winners, but God looks at the heart. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Okay, we're gonna take a look actually at that word heart for a moment here. In fact, if you've got your fun packs, go ahead and open those up and look for the drawing of the person. Okay, you should see an outline of a person. Teenagers, adults, I'm actually gonna ask you to draw a person as well. Maybe just in your bulletin, in the margins of something. All right, I'll draw my person here. There's my head. Oh dear, okay. Here's the body. Okay. Have you found your person? Adults, teenagers, go ahead and draw one yourself. So, what does a heart do? Anyone know what a heart does? Yeah, go ahead and just yell it out. It pumps blood. I think I heard something else too. If it stops beating, you die. Okay, well, before you draw your heart here, I'm gonna ask you to draw lungs in your person, okay? Draw lungs here. I'll draw my lungs like this. Okay? Because your lungs, when you breathe, everybody take a breath in. Your lungs gathers up the oxygen, and then the oxygen is sent to your heart, and then your heart sends the oxygen to the rest of your body. All right, so we gotta draw our hearts in here. Go ahead and make a fist with your hand like this. All right, so this is probably about the size of your heart. If you've got a big fist, you probably have a bigger heart. If you have a small fist, you probably have a smaller heart. Put it right here in the middle of your chest. Move it just a little bit to the left, and there you go, all right? So let's draw the heart here. Draw your heart in with the lungs. So you're gonna breathe in. Your lungs are gonna collect the oxygen and send it to your heart, and then your heart is going to send the oxygen to every part of your body through different blood vessels. All right, so go ahead and draw, this is gonna get messy. Draw blood vessels everywhere, okay? Draw blood vessels everywhere that the heart's gonna be sending oxygen, all the way down to your toes, down to your fingers, up in your brain. So here's the thing. When your heart is pumping out oxygen, it doesn't just go to part of your body, it goes to all of your body. So if your heart is pure, your hands are pure. If your heart is pure, your feet are pure. Take a moment, kids, and just show the people next to you your drawing. Actually, not just the kids. If you drew something, show the people next to you. Do a little show and tell there. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. People look on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. So that means that since David's heart was pure, when David fought against Goliath, his feet were pure. His feet had the courage to run towards the giant. His hands had the courage and the wisdom to be able to sling that stone towards the giant. Whatever it is that you have in your heart comes out in your actions. Okay, so when we breathe, the oxygen goes into our lungs, it goes into our heart, it goes into the rest of our body. But the heart doesn't just bring in all the good stuff. The heart also helps you get rid of the not so good stuff. So if you remember from science class, you breathe in oxygen and you breathe out what? Carbon dioxide. Yes, very nice, very nice. You can't hold on to the carbon dioxide. It's not good for you. So your heart helps you bring in the good and push out the bad. So it brings the carbon dioxide to your heart that pushes it out to your lungs, which means you blow it out. And why I love this image of the heart is because so often that's how God works. We breathe in the goodness, the joy, the peace of God. And then we breathe out the things that make our heart not so pure. We breathe out the jealousy, the lying, the anger that's destructive. We breathe in the goodness of God. We breathe out the things that we don't need, the things that would make our heart impure. If your eyes don't get enough oxygen, you literally cannot see. You literally start to get kind of blurred vision. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So David is anointed king. God says, look, don't just look at the outward appearance, look at the heart. This is the next king. David kills Goliath. David becomes king. But unfortunately, after a while, David's heart doesn't always stay quite so pure. David has moments where instead of getting rid of the things that God wanted him to get rid of, he held on to it just a little bit longer than he should have. And so after David had been king for a while, rather than going out to war with all the other people, he decides, I'm going to stay put here. And he starts to get some sin in his heart. And that sin starts to affect his feet and his hands and his eyes. And pretty soon David is not pure of heart. In fact, he's starting to get a little bit cloudy in his heart, cloudy in his eyes. Yeah, thank you. Those were sound effects to the sermon. Yes, I wanted the thunder to come right when I was talking about sin in our life. And it's almost like, you know what? I have something here that we can look at here that will help show that. So I've got these lovely heart glasses. So imagine you're letting in, a little bit of sin, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little more. And when your heart is not pure, here, let me get someone else. Can you come try these on for me? You want to try these on? Okay. Okay, take a look, put those on, and just look all around here. You can see everybody, right? Yeah, you can still see everybody, but there's kind of like little blurry things in the way, right? Yeah. All right, you can keep those, okay? Oh, you can have a pair too. There you go. So David starts to realize he has a good friend that comes up to him and says, David, your heart is not right. David, you are sinning. Have you guys, have you sinned before? I'm thinking of when I was 8 years old. I don't know why this sin has stuck in my head, but it has. When I was 8 years old, we used to watch TV on Saturday nights, like a big family event. That was also the night that we would take baths for church. And I grew up in the 1900s, and so we had things called commercials. And I would always try to time my bath so that I would watch the TV show, the commercial would start, I would quick run upstairs, I would take a bath, and I would try to bathe as quickly as I could so that I could come back downstairs and not miss any part of the show. So on this particular Saturday night, I did that. The show ended, the commercial started, I ran upstairs, I took a bath, I came downstairs, and my mom said, Mandy, did you use soap? And I said, yes, but I didn't. I looked clean, I said I was clean, but I wasn't. And I started to feel so guilty inside. I could actually feel myself go, ugh. The glasses were a little bit cloudy. I couldn't see God quite so clearly. And finally I said, I didn't use soap. And so my mom sent me back upstairs. I missed the TV show. I used soap. But when David sinned, he started to realize that something wasn't quite right in his life as well. He had a friend that called him up on it. David, you're not living right. David, you've sinned. And so you know what David did? I'm going to show you what he did. He actually wrote out something to God, and we actually have a record of it. So kids, if you don't mind, turn to Psalm 51. Okay, go to the book of Psalms. Book of Psalms, Psalm 51. Psalm 51. When you've gotten to Psalm 51, just put a hand up, just so I can know that you're there, okay? Okay, I'm seeing some hands up. Yep, I'm seeing some hands. Once you get to Psalm 51, go ahead and you're gonna go on a treasure hunt here. Look through the entire chapter and see if you can find the word heart, okay? Look through Psalm 51, look for the word heart. Psalm 51, word heart. If you found Psalm 51, if you found the word heart and you're willing to come up here and read it, come on up to the front here with me. Psalm 51, if you see the word heart, go ahead and come on up here. Yep, I see some people coming. Again, we can have more than one person read this. That's totally fine. Yep, you can come on up to the front here, guys. I see 1, 2, 3 kids so far. Anybody else? Anyone else want to join us? Number 4. If you want to come, you're more than welcome to. I see a few people kind of standing up and then sitting down and then standing up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start reading here. You're welcome to join us, though, if you change your mind. You think you found it here? A verse about the heart? Okay.
Create in me a pure heart.
Thank you.
Create in me a pure heart. Create in me a pure heart.
Create in me a pure heart.
Create in me a pure heart.
Create in here a pure heart.
I think we've heard it enough now. Can we all say that together on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. create in me a pure heart. Thank you very much. You guys can sit down. When David realized that he had sin in his heart, that he was not able to see God clearly, he knew he couldn't fix this on his own, that the only way to have a clean heart is to ask God. It's actually kind of simple. He just asked God. And so this morning, there are two things that we're going to be doing right here in our seats, two things I'm going to ask you to do. I'll tell you the first one. Number one is we're going to pray David's prayer. We're just going to say, God, create in me a clean heart. All right? We can't clean our hearts ourselves, but God is willing to do that. So take a moment, just where you're sitting even now, and just repeat those words to God. God, create in me a clean heart. You can say it out loud. You can say it quietly in your head, but go ahead and pray those words now. And then the second thing I'm going to ask you to do. God noticed David's heart while David was still young, before he had done anything extraordinary. He noticed David's heart while he was just doing his chores around the house. And what David did while he was doing his chores, while he was watching the sheep, was he was talking to God while he was watching sheep. That book of Psalms that you guys turn to, it's full of prayers, full of things that David said to God while he was watching sheep. But they were just his chores. It wasn't anything special. And so what I want to ask you guys to do, the next thing that I want you to do, is I want you to think about this upcoming week and see if you can identify one chore that you know you're going to have to do. Maybe you don't want to do it, but one chore. And this is adults. This is for adults, for teenagers, for kids. Don't think about the most important thing you're going to do this week. Think about a really simple, small chore that you're going to do. Maybe it's the dishes. Maybe it's walking the dog. Maybe it's making your bed. And I want you to ask God to make your heart pure while you're doing that chore. Okay? So think up the chore you want to talk about, and then I'm going to have you turn to your family, turn to the people next to you, and simply say, here's the chore I'm thinking of right now. And ask how God can make your heart pure while you do that. So take just a few moments and talk in your pews with the people next to you. What's the chore that comes to mind?